Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka, and Bitcoin's pumping today. The whole industry's up. Happy about that. On today's show, Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill introduced in Oklahoma. Yet another state to introduce a Strategic Reserve Bill. Also on today's show, Bitcoin rebounds above 97% ahead of CPI release. Consumer Price Index, and what to expect. And in our Ask AI segment, we're going to compare Grok to Chat GPT, and we are today going to go back to the images. We're going to create a ocean and mountain scene, and I'll show you the simple prompt, and we'll compare the result and declare a winner. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is January 15th, 2025, and Bitcoin's up, pumping. The whole sector's up. I'm happy to see a lot of green, a lot of people making money out there. We are going to go through our technical analysis, market watch, and later on we're going to create what we hope is a fantastic image in both Grok and Chat GPT, and this time we've done mountain views, we've done people, we've done scenic views. This time we're going to see how it does with the ocean. Let's get into the ocean, baby. Let's hop right into our Bitcoin market watch, and we've got Coin 360 on screen, and it just dipped below 100,000 a couple seconds ago, but we are basically at 100,000 US, up almost 3%. Ethereum up 5% at 33.94. XRP pumping again at $3.05. Solana up 8%, $203.02. Doge up 5%. SHIB up 2%. Pretty much everything in the green. In our crypto market cap outlook, we have a current market cap for Bitcoin at $1.98 trillion, up a fair amount today. Ethereum up a little bit at 409 billion. XRP way up now compared to the 135 that it was just a few days ago. It's now at $175 billion. Tether still sitting at 137, which is where XRP was just a few days ago. BNB at 102 billion. Solana 98 billion, gaining a little ground. Doge at 56 billion. Cardano in the 9th position at 97 billion. Tron at 20 billion to wrap up the top 10. And the crypto total market cap today right now is at $3.42 trillion. Bitcoin remained pretty steady at 57.8% dominance. Ethereum, again, steady at 11.9 dominance. Yesterday it was about 11.7. And XRP just kicking it now, over 5% at 5.12 and gaining more ground. I haven't seen it. Usually it was busting its price at about 3% of the total market cap. So she's really gaining ground here. And into crypto bubbles, everything, every single coin on crypto bubbles except for Move down 1.5%, but everything is in the green. Strangely enough, with everything being up, Fartcoin again is the highest gainer. Virtual at 27%, Virtual 28%, Algorand 12.5%, WIF 12%. AI16Z, which I thought would have been dead, but no, it keeps bouncing back. On the good days, it's up. On the bad days, it's down, but she's still there on the radar. XRP up 8.5%, Jasmy up 6.5%. Every single thing in the green today. And for the week, we have about 80-20 in the green. XRP, huge winner. Again, it's the third largest market cap, and it's making a big move, up 30% for the week. Even more than Fartcoin. XDC, the big winner at 38% for the week. And for the month, we have a lot in the red, but the few standouts are the couple meme AI coins, the Fartcoin and the AI16Z, BGB, Move, BGB 85%, Move 30%. XRP is showing us something this month, let me tell you. And just for shits and giggles, let's flip out to the yearly, and now we're going to see some big green bubbles here. Pepe up 1,400%, Sui 265, Ondo, AI Oz 600%, OM, never heard of it, up 5,500%, Jasmy up 550%, XRP up 450%, Doge up 350%. So going into the month, you know, we're seeing a little red, but overall, there's been some great gains, better than what you can get on the traditional stock market, NASDAQ, you know, S&P, etc. Currently, in our crypto fear and greed index, we are sitting at 75 a greed. Yesterday was a 70, and last week was a 69, also in greed. Our Bitcoin halving watch, we have approximately 1,150 days before the next halving, which will take place in March or April of 2028. There are 1,189,238 coins yet to mine until the year 2140, and there's 170,556 blocks until the next halving in about 3.5 years. And let's flip into our assets by market cap globally. We still have gold number one at 18.3 trillion, Apple number two 3.5 trillion, Nvidia 3.3 trillion, Microsoft 3.1, Google 2.4, Amazon 2.3. Bitcoin coming up the rear, and I predict we'll be catching both Amazon and Google at some point this year. And Bitcoin's current market cap is 1.98, just under 2 trillion. So Amazon's at 2.3 trillion, so 300 billion to go to catch those guys. It's pulled ahead of Saudi Aramco quite a bit at 1.8 trillion, silver 1.75, followed by Meta and Tesla to round out the top 11. And just so in case anyone's curious, Tesla is at 1.374 trillion market cap, and you can only get under 1,000 satoshis for one fiat US dollar, 993 satoshis today. And also a little further information on that. Everybody thinks, oh, a Bitcoin, I need a Bitcoin, I have to buy a Bitcoin. No, you do not. A Bitcoin can be divided into 100 million satoshis. So when we're counting the one US dollar, that's basically what we're posting it against. So one Bitcoin can be divided into 100 million satoshis. So there's lots of Bitcoin to go around for the whole world. It can be divided and divided and divided and divided. And into our US debt clock, we have today 36 trillion, 356 billion, and 60 million which is up actually less than our usual 7%, 7 billion. I think it's up about 4.5 billion today. First time it's been up less than 6 billion for a while in one day. Debt per U.S. citizen is 106,917, and debt per taxpayer we're looking at 323,045 dollars. Market's way up. I'm hoping everybody makes some money out there. Again, a good strategy is to keep your money in Bitcoin, number one. If you need to stray a little bit, you can certainly look at the top three, which are Bitcoin, Solana, and XRP. I personally would recommend, and what I do is I keep the majority in those top three, and specifically right now I'm 90% in Bitcoin, maybe 4 or 5% in XRP, and then I'll take 5% and I'll basically put it in shit coins. So by that I mean altcoins. When you're dealing with altcoins, you're taking a big risk. So never put your life savings in altcoins, guys. If you put it in Bitcoin, it's going to be safe. There's so many infrastructures built already on Bitcoin, Solana, and XRP around the world. So those things are not going to go to zero. The other altcoins, you don't know. 1 year it can be in favor. The next year, fart coin could go to shit coin and it's down to nothing. And, you get wrecked and it goes to zero on you. So play it careful out there. I want everybody to make money. I would highly recommend you keep it in the safety. Bitcoin's up about 150% a year. Look, how much do you want? So, XRP was up. We saw almost 500% in a year. They're doing pretty well, and you can do quite well sticking with the safety. Certainly take 5%. Take maybe 10%. Money that you can afford to lose, put it in these other altcoins. Find some, right now what seems to be the trend are the AI meme coins. Previous to this, it was, and they're still in favor. It was, first it was the frog, then it was the kitty, then it was the dog, then it was the Shiba. So every year is the new fad. Again, play it safe. It's just like the traditional markets. Look at it that way. You're not going to put, your life savings in some startup company, but you will put it in something stable. You'll put it in Apple, 90% or something. I wouldn't even recommend any of that. I would recommend put it in, a index fund, which invest in the entire S&P 500 and all 500 stocks. Or all NASDAQ 100. This is the way to go if you're sticking in the traditional markets. You're going to pay a lot less in fees. We're talking like 0.03, 0.05 in an index fund. They can afford to do this because, your banker who wants you to put his money in with them, your financial advisor, they're taking a big cut. You're making them rich, number one. So they're taking normally about a 2% MER, between 1 and 3 or sometimes even 4%. With an index fund, we're talking 0.03, 0.05, and you're not putting yourself in the risk of an individual stock. You're instead investing in the entire stock market. You're saying the whole stock market is going to do well. The advantages there are the index fund does the work for you. The stock market on a whole does the work for you. If a stock does great, well, what's the highest a stock can go? It can go up to infinity. What's the worst a stock can do is it can go to zero. You lose 100%. How much can it go up? It can go up thousands. So what happens is, on your behalf, this is done automatically, and it's clearly not for you. It's done for the market on the whole. When a stock comes out of favor and it's not doing well, it gets lifted off the S&P. And then a newer, better stock goes on there that is in the top 500 market caps of companies in the world. And then you've got, again, more potential for this one to go up hundreds of percent. But the most it's ever going to go down is 100. So in that respect, you're safe. The Vanguard, I think it's called VOO. It is called VOO. Total Index Fund for the S&P. You're getting 8% dividend on top of whatever your investment is. So it's a good deal if you want to go very low risk. In today's reality, you're only going to make, 10, 12, maybe 20% on the stock market. And what you're seeing in the crypto market is gains of, hundreds of percents. Even the conservative coins, Bitcoin up 150%, XRP up 500%. And then, of course, the shit coins. You could potentially land on one that's up thousands and thousands and thousands of percent. So keep it safe. Keep it in Bitcoin. Keep it in XRP. Keep it in Solana. You hope those pump for you. Even Doge, anything in the top 10 per market cap, you should be relatively safe. But I wouldn't put my life savings in it. If I was going to put my life savings in something, I would put it in Bitcoin, and that's it. That's what I would. This is not financial advice, but for me, my money is on Bitcoin. There's a limited supply, and it is the coin with the smallest supply of all of them. And as we know with anything in real life, the less there is of something, the more it's worth. I could have the last Gatorade bottle on Earth, and somehow it'll be so valuable. But when there's 100 million of these things, it's worthless. Same thing with coins. The more there are, Shiba Inu, sure, I've got some. Everybody has, 10, 30 million, 50 million of these things because they were so cheap. But, the number of coins that are being minted are, I think it's 1 trillion. It could even be more than that. So how valuable is it? Not very. Bitcoin, 21 million. On top of that, approximately 4 to 6 million have been lost. So you're really looking at about 15 million currently in circulation. And a lot of those have been bought up by the institutions. So the latest numbers show that there's only about 1.5 to 2 million Bitcoin actually available for people to buy. So scoop up the biddies, take 5%, put them in the shit coin, find something really good, ICOs, pre-sales. A little bit of cash might go a long way in that respect. But don't lose your life savings. Don't get wrecked on an altcoin. It would be depressing. I don't want to see that on anybody. Let's move into our stories for today. Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill introduced in Oklahoma. Yeah, baby. So yet another state introducing a strategic reserve bill. This bill is about protecting the hard-earned money of Oklahoma citizens. Representative Cody Maynard said upon introducing the act with a cool little Bitcoin. It's a throwback from the 60s here with the, I forget what that guy was called, but he was standing on the steps of the, in Philadelphia there, singing a song. A new bill to establish Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset was introduced to the Oklahoma House of Representatives on January 15th by State Representative Cody Maynard. House Bill 1203, known as the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act, would allow Oklahoma's pension funds and state savings account to allocate a portion of their assets to Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. Rep. Maynard said, Bitcoin represents freedom from bureaucrats, printing away our purchasing power. The state representative continued. That's exactly bang on. Like, I'm so happy that these reps now are blatantly coming out and saying, stop printing the frickin' money. You're wrecking our investments. You're debasing our currency. My $1 is now worth 90 cents a year later, and 10 years later, it's worth 10 cents. And that's actually what's going on. As a decentralized form of money, Bitcoin cannot be manipulated or created by government entities. It is the ultimate store of value for those who believe in financial freedom and sound money principles. Amen. Several U.S. states have pending legislation to establish Bitcoin strategic reserve, and several state pension funds have already diversified into Bitcoin as the digital asset gains mainstream institutional adoption. Oh, and here's the actual act, or the first page of it. Very nice. Bitcoin strategic reserve proposals pop up in several states. Pennsylvania lawmakers submitted a proposal in Bitcoin. Texas, North Dakota, New Hampshire. Yeah, so it's making its rounds. And let's see what the actual bill says. First session of the 60th Legislature 2025 by Maynard, House Bill 1203, has introduced an act relating to public finance, enacting the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act, providing definitions, permitting certain investments by the state treasurer, limiting investments, directing certain taxes and fees to be paid by the state general fund, permitting investments of state retirement funds, providing for codification, and providing an effective date, be it enacted by the people of the state of Oklahoma. Section 1. New law. A new section of the law to be codified in the Oklahoma statutes as Section 89.12 of Title 62, unless there is created a duplication in numbering. Read as follows. This act shall be known and may be cited as the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act. Yeah, so unfortunately, you can't really scroll down on it, but there it is. We can see clearly this is not BS. These states are doing it. They're enacting these strategic Bitcoin reserve requests, and in the legislator, and there it is. Proof is in the pudding. Let's hope a lot of these states, and of course Trump, puts through a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and then if we think today's pump at 2.5% is big, we're going to be jumping out of our shoes in about 5 days. Certainly if on day one he announces something that's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what happens. Let's move on to our next story of the day. Bitcoin rebounds above 97,000 ahead of consumer price index release. What to expect? So the release for the CPI, which is basically the inflation consumer price index, that is slated for early February. Bitcoin has kicked off the week with notable volatility, showcasing the market's unpredictability after a sharp 6% decline that took the price to fresh lows around 89,000. BTC staged an impressive recovery, surging 9% to reclaim the 97,000 level. It reclaimed 100. This rapid rebound highlights both the resilience of Bitcoin and the cautious sentiment among investors navigating uncertain market conditions. The crypto market now turns its focus to today's consumer price index report, a key economic indicator that will provide insights into the inflation trends. expectations are leaning toward a potential rise in inflation, a scenario that could heavily influence Bitcoin's price trajectory as investor assesses its role as a hedge against economic stability. I was reading that the next CPI release was going to be February, I think it was the 10th, but okay, I am incorrect there. The whole reason I brought up this story in the first place was because I was under the impression it was going to be today. Then I looked it up, and it said February 12th. So let's see what actually happened, because I don't want just so you guys see what I can doing here. If you try and search with Google, you get what I was getting today, which is February 12th. So let's see what AI, because they'll certainly have the latest news. As of January 15th, the latest consumer price index data for Canada. Now we want US. Overall, CPI increased by 0.4% from November, aligning with economists' forecast. This marks the largest monthly gain in 9 months, primarily driven by a 2.6% surge in energy prices, which contributed to over 40% of the overall increase. Annual inflation rate rose to 2.9% in December, up from 2.7% in November, highest level since July. This increase was anticipated by economists. Core CPI, including volatile food energy prices, the core CPI rose by 0.2% in December, following 4 consecutive months of 0.3%. This suggests a slight easing in underlying inflation pressures. Market reaction. Stock market indices experienced significant gains. S&P rose by 1.8%, Dow 1.7%. NASDAQ 2.5%. Treasury bonds declined, with 10-year yield dropping to 4.66. So as you remember a couple of weeks ago, in terms of the dip, when there was this 6% pullback in Bitcoin, it was because the opposite happened. The bond prices, the bond interest rates went up. And they said, we're not going to need as many interest rate drops. They went from 4 interest rates in the U.S. They said they were going to drop the interest rate 4 times in 2025. Then they went and said 2, and now the latest is they're only going to do 1 drop in 2025. Excuse me. So here we have it. So inflation went up more than expected. That's typically a good thing for stocks, believe it or not, because for Bitcoin, certainly, because people are looking for a hedge against inflation. So they put their money in more stable things like gold, like Bitcoin, and things that are a little more risky take a back seat. So, decent story. Let's move on from there. We already have the latest news. This is, an hour ago, but really we fact-checked that to a minute ago, and we've got the complete information there. So glad we looked it up. You can use, we always go through our segment of Ask AI, which is coming up right now, and in that segment we typically have been using it for image creation, chart creation, summarizing books. We've used it for a few things, and as you see, you can also use it for your latest news. I find it a great resource. Here we are on the right. I was using Grok to see, what I can get out of it with some different photos here. I came out with some decent ones. I was asking specifically for Bitcoin related things, and diamond hands and laser eyes, which is the symbol for hodling. And there were some good looks that were produced. Not exactly perfect. And I'd like to compare it against Chat GPT to see how it does with that similar look. But that's not what we're going to be checking today. What we're going to try and do in our segment of Ask AI today is we're going to have it create a fantastic ocean landscape. So let's get right into it. And sometimes I'll go through and to save time, I'll create the prompt. But I've got some feedback of, please help us create these prompts. And I get it, because more information you have on how to create these prompts, the better images you're going to have. So let's go through and create this together, and you guys can try this on your own computers or own phones. You can get Grok and Chat GPT as an app or through their webpage on your phone or on your computer. Grok is a part of X, Elon Musk's formerly Twitter company, and OpenAI is the overseeing body of Chat GPT. So let's start creating a prompt. So on our right screen here, we're going to start generate an image in landscape orientation. First things first, we don't want this to be some vertical thing. We want it to be landscape, like the shape of your TV or the shape of your monitor. That's what we want from both of these, GPTs. We don't care. Generate an image in landscape orientation. Next, image should be of a majestic ocean with stormy waves and white water against a backdrop of a beautiful blue sky and sunset. The huge sun should illuminate the entire sky. Multiple sailboats should be sailing both closely and in the far distance. The emphasis of this photo should be the beautiful ocean and all the nature and nature beauty. I already said beautiful a few times. Nature and resources it provides to humanity. All right, so I think that's definitely a good start. And again, you see that I'm not just typing, make me a picture of the ocean. I'm telling it exactly what I want in this photo, and I'm gonna get exactly what I'm asking for. I'm gonna read the entire prompt. Generate, and of course you've got to go back sometimes and fix your spelling. Generate an image in landscape orientation. The image should be of a majestic ocean with stormy waves and white water. Stormy waves and white water against a backdrop of a beautiful blue sky and sunset. The huge sun should illuminate the entire sky. Multiple sailboats should be sailing both closely and in the far distance. The emphasis of this photo should be the beautiful ocean and all the nature and resources it provides to humanity. So we gave it what we wanted, and I hope we didn't screw it up by saying the emphasis of this photo should be the beautiful ocean, all the nature and resource it provides to humanity. Because we already told it what we wanted. This might be redundant, but I really want it. I didn't want there to be, a little bit of water and some boats. I want this to be like the ocean, the big blue white water ocean. So hopefully at least, 50% of this image should be the ocean, and then the rest should be a blue sky with a sunset, a huge sun, some boats. And now when reading it against a backdrop of a beautiful blue sky and sunset, the sunset should have thousands of shades of colors. Alright, so I'm going to take that. Now that I've done some changes to it, I'm going to copy it into both. I'm going to get rid of what I had copied before, and we are going to let her fly on both AI models, Grok and Chat GPT. Let's see what comes up. And already Grok is coming up with some very cool colors, and we see also Chat GPT coming up with some very cool colors. And let's make both of these a little bigger to see what the outcome was. So we've got our Grok on the top, our Chat GPT on the bottom, and I'm going to choose the best of Grok, which I feel is this bottom picture here. And once again, we see a consistency where Grok is giving us real looking images and ChatGPT is giving us these fantasy style, almost painting like photos. And again, the consistency where Grok is giving us 4 pictures, ChatGPT is only giving us 1, and we have the option of creating multiple pictures, even more and more pictures with Grok. With ChatGPT, you get 3 pictures a day with the free version of ChatGPT, whereas with Grok, I've yet to find a limit of how many. Now, what I do like with Grok is it gives you more choices. So here at the bottom, it says if you want to add things, it says, and icebergs with a rainbow. So instead, I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? Let's go with a rainbow. We'll just click on its suggestions and see what it comes back with. I think it might be pretty good. And you can pretty much keep going over and over and over with Grok, and because every time it always comes to with these options at the bottom, you know, in a mountainous landscape with a double rainbow, right? So now, you know, it's come back with 8 images. They may not be as artsy as Chat GPT, but you do get this option of continually, you know, making more and more and more. Now, also what you get is extreme realism here. Like, you know, this boat is pretty close, this sailboat, but it looks completely real. It doesn't look like some fake boat. Down here on ChatGPT, it looks like a painting from, you know, yesteryear kind of thing. And it's a little interesting how there's a wave in the sky, which I just noticed here. Again, very artsy, very cool. But ChatGPT is realistic. So let's go with in a mountainous landscape. I know we weren't going to put mountains. We were going to focus on the ocean. But I feel like the Grok photos are taking up, the ocean's taking up too much of it. On the ChatGPT, we do get about, you know, 50% of the screen is ocean, 50% is the sky. It's not, it's good. If you're looking for photographs, that's the consistency of it. Grok is the way to go. If you're looking for fantasy, oil painting type looks, ChatGPT is the way to go. And I am actually going to underwater mountains. I'm going to give the nod to ChatGPT today because with one prompt, it interpreted it a little bit better. Now with Grok, you know, now it's starting to come through with some real kick-ass images after we took its with bioluminescent creatures, volcanic peaks. So again, you can just keep going on and on with this thing. Let's try the bioluminescent creatures and see what we get. I liked the volcanic peaks that it also came with, but you know, just the beginning of the picture is also looking nicer. Like these are good sunsets, but we had to give it multiple attempts to really get it right, and that's what I have found with Grok. The good thing is it lets you do multiple attempts. ChatGPT seems to interpret your requests a little bit better right off the hop. Grok is, I suppose, a little newer. Again, if you want photo quality, Grok is the clear winner. If you want fantasy style, ChatGPT is the way to go, and I've consistently found that doing multiple comparisons between the two. I like them both, and there's no way I could draw either of these things. If you give me a week, I would probably get something done, but not as good as this. Whereas you immediately become an artist in minutes. You saw we started from beginning to end, and if we typed our own revisions into ChatGPT, because you see, here is the image of the majestic ocean with stormy waves, vibrant sunset hues, and sailboats. Let me know if you would like any adjustments or further details. You know, normally I would say yes, change this and this and this and this and this, but I don't want to waste my 3 shots, my 3 images, you know. So I do one with you guys, and then I create 2 for myself, you know, every day. So with Grok, you can make whatever changes, you can add, you can change, you can change, you can change, you can change, until you get something good. Hopefully you found this useful. And remember, everyone, when we're talking about money, money is abundant and money's everywhere. Time is what's scarce, so use your time wisely. Spend less money than what you earn. And if you suddenly make more money, save more money. Don't spend more money, and start your saving today or your investment today. If you start younger, you can retire younger. 40 years old would be great to retire, not 65, 75 or older when you're immobile. And if you've got a great idea, start that great idea today. Don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow might never come. If you found this enjoyable, and I think we had some success with our AI images again, please do share, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next stream, everybody. Thanks for watching.